Today's lesson, we're going to be talking about ordering and patterns. Our I can objectives are I can order 3-digit numbers. I can identify the greatest number and the least number. I can identify number patterns. Vocabulary: greatest, least, more than, less than. You can use a place value chart to help you order numbers. This separates each place value and makes them easier to read. If we were to order 489, 236, and 701 from least to greatest, that's smallest to biggest, we could look at our chart here and separate each digit into its place value: hundreds, tens, ones. Just like in lesson 3, when we compare our numbers, we're going to look in the greatest place value, which happens to be our hundreds place. In our hundreds place, we have 400s, 200s, 700s. All of them are different. 700s is the greatest number. So 701 is the greatest number. 236, 200 is the least number. So that is our smallest number. When we put them in order from least to greatest, least means smallest, we would order them 236 with a comma between, 489, comma, and 701, smallest to biggest. Notice there's a clue here that says least. For some practice, we're going to identify which numbers are greatest and least. Then we're going to order them: 459, 574, and 588. Looking here, we've placed our numbers in our hundreds chart, and I'm looking for the number greatest to least. So I'm looking for my biggest number first. Looking in my hundreds place, I notice that 459 is the smallest or least number. So that would go over here where it says next to least. That's the smallest. Now, when I look for the next number, we're looking for the greatest, the biggest. When I'm comparing my hundreds place, I notice that these are both 500 and 500. So just like we learned in lesson 3, we have to go over to our tens place to compare those numbers. In our tens place, the digit 7, meaning 70, is there, and the digit 5 for 50. I know that 70 is greater than 50, so 574 is my greatest number. And then when I order these from least to greatest, I have, greatest to least, I put my biggest number first, 574, 558, and my least number is 459. Now you try. We have 4 numbers that we're going to order from least, meaning the smallest, to the greatest. Go ahead and give it a try. All right, now that we've had a minute, let's look over here at these numbers and order them from least, meaning smallest, to greatest. Looking at my hundreds place, 700, 900, 700, 500, I see 500 is the smallest. Because I'm having a hard time writing with my marker, I'm just going to start a little further out. And I'm actually going to just give this, oops, wrong number. $555. and I'm going to cross off 555 over here. Now I see that my next numbers are 700, 900, 700. 900 is clearly my greatest, so I'm going to write over here 904 because that's my biggest number. So right away I've crossed off my smallest number and my biggest number. Now I need to figure out which should come next. Looking for the next smallest number, 707, 762. Both numbers have 7 in the hundreds place, so I have to look at my tens place, 0 and 6. 0 is smaller or less than, so that should be my next number, 707, followed by 762. How did you do? We're going to come back to this as an in-class activity, so moving on to the next slide. We can also use number lines to help us find patterns or missing numbers. Here, if we look at our number line, we're counting by ones, and we start at 243. We have a missing number right here in our pattern, and we have a missing number right here in our pattern. It says one more than 246 is 247. One less than 251 is 250. So our rule for finding the next number was just to add 1. So let's give it a try over here. We have 721, 731, 741, 751, a blank, 771. It says here in my clue box, 10 more than 751 is what? If I notice that my tens place is what's missing, I'm counting by tens. 20, 30, 40, 50. 10 more than 50 is 60. So my number missing here should be 700 because my hundreds place stayed the same. My tens is what I was counting by, so this becomes 60, and my ones place stays the same. To check, 751, 761, 771, 781, 791. Ooh, whoa, that's not a 9. Let's try that again. 791. Now here's where a lot of people get tricked up because we have 791, and then we have to go to the next 10, which brings us to a new 100. If we count by ones from 791, 792, 793, 794, 795, 796, 797, 798, 799, 800, 801 is 10 more than 791. Continuing the pattern from the 800s, 801, 811, 821, we've started the pattern over 831. When counting by tens, if you ever get confused, count by ones 10 more to help you find that new number. Over here, we've got a stairway. This looks a little tricky because as I just glance at it, I notice that I have hundreds in different places, but they're going up and they're going down. So just like going downstairs, 428, 328, 228, I went the direction down here, but it's looking like I'm going up this way. And to help make that decision here, I have 428. So these are on the same stair level. These are on the same stair level. So this one will be 328, counting by hundreds, 228, 328, 428. The next 100 would be 528. All right, we can also find missing numbers, and you have a hundreds chart on your name tag to help you. One less. So here's my clue word, less. Less means subtraction or minus. So one minus one less than 999 is 998. 9 minus 1 is 8. 20 more than 415. We could count by tens. 20 is 2 tenths. So my hundreds place is going to stay the same, 400. The next 10 would be 25, and the second 10 would be 35. 100 more than 900 would be what? 10 hundred, but we don't call it 1000. I just say that when we have to write the number, so we have enough zeros. It's 1000, 1,000. If you remember our place value, this is the ones, the tens, the hundreds, then the thousands. 200 less than 635. If we're looking at our hundreds and we want to go to less, one less backwards would be 500, 635, and then 435. Continuing our pattern here, for number 9, we have 442, 542, 642, 742. I notice that it's just my hundreds place that's changing. Every other digit is staying the same. So I should have 842 and 942. That's a really bad 4. Oh, here's an easy one. Give our brains a break. 298, 299, blank, blank, 302, 303. Well, this tells me that my hundreds place is the same here and here, but not here. However, I notice 98, 99, we have to go to the next 100. We've been counting by ones. So we have 300. And then 300 plus 1 is 300. Oh, let's make that a little smaller. 301. Why don't you go ahead and try 11 and 12 yourself? If you're not sure how to do it, you can use your dry erase board or a scratch piece of paper to help you. Looking in our hundreds place, we have a blank, then 800, 800, blank, blank, 800. I can tell that these are all going to be in my 800s. Looking at my tens place, 10, 20, blank, blank, 50. I'm going to be counting by tens. 10, 810 minus 10 is just 800. 810, 820, say it with me, 830, and 840. All right, the very last pattern, we have blank, blank, 332, 232, 132. I can tell that we are decreasing in our hundreds place. So I'm going to go backwards this way. 332. The next 100 would be 432. And then the next 100 over here would be 532. And here's a tricky part. 132 minus 100. Well, if I take 100 away, I only have 100 here. I would be left with just 32. There'd be a 0 in my hundreds place. All right, so now we have some practice. Jesse and Kathy try to find out how many numbers there are from 3 to 9, 8 to 15, and 17 to 27. They use different ways to find their answers. Jessie here says she counted all the numbers. There were 7 numbers from 3 to 9. But Kathy said she used subtraction and said 9 minus 3 equals 6. So Jessie's way had 7. Kathy's way had 6. Each time they did this, they counted in between. They were always 1 off. Why do you think that is? Well, luckily they had Raul. Raul checked the answers and showed that Jesse's way was the correct way. Then he looked at Kathy's and Jesse's answers and saw a pattern. Jesse's answers were always 1 more than Kathy's answer. Why do you think that is? It's because Jessie included all of the numbers, starting with number 3 when she counted on her fingers. Don't forget to count starting at the number we're counting on from. So use what you've learned to answer each of these questions. Check your answers to 4, 5, and 6 by counting. So start with 22 and end when you get to 38. And now we're ready for the Let's Practice page.